everybody, I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to a new video. My name is Evelin Barta, and those of you that are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. Those of you that have been already here, welcome back. Let me just say a huge thank you again to everybody who is supporting me on this journey, and thank you so much for your generosity. Those of you that have donated, I'm so grateful for everyone, and it is making me very emotional as well when I think about it, that we are here for each other and humanity is getting together and we are more and more tapping into this unity consciousness, and it is absolutely beautiful. Everything that is going on right now, it is making me extremely happy, and I will be talking about that a little bit as well, what is happening in Canada. But then I also have been planning to make a video about this new narrative around Ukraine and the tension between Ukraine and Russia that is all over the news in the mainstream. And we know when something is very loud in the mainstream, they are trying their best really to get our attention, and that is either a distraction or it is a new narrative that is in the making. So I wasn't really sure about what is going on there because I have no clue about what is going on politically in these countries. I have never been interested in politics, not even out of curiosity. I know a few political leaders, but that's all. I'm quite objective when it comes to these countries and this so-called conflict. But all I know is that when something is being presented in a certain way in the mainstream media, there is a very high chance that things are not that way. So there is a very high chance that reality is completely different. So I thought I'm gonna look into that, and I'm going to talk about this in this video. And I do feel like it does have to do with the narrative that the ruling class has been working on very hard in the past 2 years, but that which didn't quite work out the way they wanted it. And let me just say, before I get into Ukraine and Russia, and we will check the energies around it as well, that this movement in Canada, as I said, it is absolutely beautiful. And when I did the reading on it in my previous video, when I talked about February energies and what can we expect in February, I didn't think that is going to be so big. And it is big, not because of the people that gather together, but it is very big because of the energies that are present in this movement. It is quite surprising that some people, spiritual teachers out there, are saying that this is a psyop, this is an operation, a dark hat operation or whatever. Because if you're tuning into the energy of this movement, then you will feel that this is not a psyop. And I was watching one of these live streams a couple of days ago on YouTube about what is happening with the truckers when they reach the capital city. And it was beautiful, like many truckers were speaking up and many people gathered together. And if you're tuning into that frequency with your heart, then you can feel that the basis of this whole movement is love. It is unity, it is compassion, it is solidarity, is the power of people uniting and standing up together against that oppression, against that tyranny that has been taking place, especially in the past 2 years. And it was making me emotional because I could feel that it is coming from the power of people, that this will start changes and it will wake up more and more people. And this is a very small glimpse of what we are capable of doing together if we are uniting our powers. This is the real power of people that is being manifested right now. And I could feel, and we knew that it was coming at some point, and it has already started. So these are not just empty words and attempts to stand up for ourselves. It is happening. We are doing it already. We are not just waiting for the energies around to arrive and to make changes, but we are doing that. We are making already changes, and it's beautiful. And I heard that the same thing, similar thing is happening in Australia already, in Brazil, and in other parts of the world. I do believe that this will be a catalyst for a change for the rest of the world as well. And I'm extremely proud of humankind at the moment. I'm very proud. And this is the year, 2022 is the year of people waking up, people that you have never expected. You would have never thought about those people waking up and changing their perspective. Those kind of people will awaken. So it is definitely the year of surprises and the year of the manifestation of the power of people. And there's a bigger wave, even a bigger wave, if we are thinking about the planetary aspects that will come in March and April. There will be a huge, huge wave of people awakening. So this is just the very beginning. And I will say that things are not going to shift like all of a sudden. There will be pushbacks coming from the deep state, so we can expect that. But this is definitely the beginning of a big change. You know, it's like when you are trying to stop a river from flowing and it flows over. That is that energy. It is the pendulum swing, when things are going to a certain extreme and they have to come back and to the opposite extreme in order to balance out the energies. This is what is happening. And they are making a very big mistake, the deep state, if they are trying to push even further with their restrictions. They are making a very, very big mistake with that. But that is good for us. So if you are being confused about the energies and you cannot really discern if these operations and movements are coming from negative entities or positive entities, then always tune into the frequencies with your heart. And of course, certain individuals are not capable of doing that, because I said it in one of my videos that in order to discern falsehood from truth, you need to vibrate on a certain frequency. You have to have your level of consciousness above the level of courage. Below that level, so if you are operating from the state of fear, you will not be able to discern if something is coming from your intuition or is coming from fear. And I have been there, so I know what I'm talking about. And let me just say that this movement doesn't have the energies of the BLM movement from 2020. Those energies were much denser, much darker, and those energies were energies of division, not solidarity, not compassion. They were aggressive, and this is how you can tell that those were two completely different operations from two different sources. You can also feel it intuitively, but then even logically, if you are looking at the media response, how the media responded to that event and how it is responding to this event, you can tell the difference. The media right now is really trying to downplay what is happening in Canada, and they are trying to ridicule the whole thing. And then the president as well, he ran away. The mainstream is saying that due to security concerns, he left the capital with his family to a secret location, so whatever. And that is telling a lot as well. His response, you know, this coward behavior, when you don't want to face people, when you don't want to face the consequences of your own lies. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say, but then also let me just share a few things of information that I received about the elites' response to this, like how are they feeling about this, and the ruling class, the deep state. So I tuned into the energies of that. I just wrote it down. Yeah, and what I got was that they feel very stuck with their plan, and this whole movement wasn't expected. So they did not expect this. It came out of nowhere, and they were not prepared for this at all. So it was very, very unexpected. They did not expect this pushback from people and this standing up. So it came out of nowhere. No preparation. So it was kind of a shocking event for them. I also got that, yes, they are scared and anxious. So it's kind of like that energy of the worst nightmares becoming reality for them, coming true for them. So there's a lot of anxiety around what is coming, and anxiety coming from the president as well and the governments. However, even though they are feeling anxious and they are scared, they are not willing to give up, and they will not give up. They are holding on to their power, and they are working on a new strategy. So they will come up with something new. They are constantly doing that. So that is what is happening right now as well. So they are determined to make this work for themselves. And we can expect that they will come up with new narratives, which I talked about. So it is that reversed tower moment for them, that they are trying to prevent disaster from happening. And there's a lot of fear around it. So this is what is happening, and we are doing that. We created this tower moment for them. Okay, so this is what I got about the truckers. And let's talk about the Ukraine thing a little bit as well. So I talked about this previously, that the narrative is changing at the moment. Things didn't really work out as they planned it. And this is what I got about the 5G thing as well. And we might think that they are ahead of time and they are many steps ahead of humanity. And yes, they are planning all the time something because they have an end goal. And their end goal is to have control over humans and to enslave humanity. And we know what is that. We know the thing about artificial intelligence. So we know kind of what the end goal is. But the question is how they're going to achieve that end goal. And in order to achieve that end goal, they need to change the narrative over and over again because the energies are changing. And when we are talking about the ruling class, we are talking about the different levels. And on certain levels, money and profit, it is definitely the end goal. And that is the biggest tool that they can use, and people's greed that are part of this class, to manipulate them and to control them. So money is being used as a tool. However, for the highest levels, and we are talking about the top levels of those guys that are operating from the background, on those levels, money is not the end goal and profit is not the end goal. And I always say that money has value only to a certain degree. And that is related to the nature of humans. We have certain needs, basic needs that need to be met. And then we have desires as well. And then when we achieved certain goals and we have met those desires through money and through material possessions in this third dimensional reality, it is losing its power over us. It is losing its value. However, of course, those people are highly traumatized. They have a different emotional value system to ours. They are vibrating on low level of frequencies and they are compensating with that. But on those top levels, like, it doesn't really matter for those that have billions of dollars if they have $10 billion more than they did have, I don't know, like 2 months ago. So money on the level of Elon Musk's and Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos' of the society is a tool for control, a tool for manipulation, and a tool for fulfilling narcissistic desires and certain tendencies as well, and megalomaniac tendencies, of course. But on top of those guys, there is a higher level, a higher force that is governing the whole world, and that is the deep state. So on those levels, money doesn't have the same value as on this third dimensional reality because those are not even people, those are certain entities. But what I'm trying to say here is that if we are looking only at money and profit and big pharma and big tech, and we want to bring down those guys and we want to bring down the governments as well, we are not solving the problems because they will be replaced with others, because the deep state, the central governance did not change. So the only reason that we didn't bring down those that are really behind the shadows, that are behind the curtain, is because we did not target them directly. We did target the system, the governments, even though we know that the governments are just little puppies for the deep state. So they have someone that is on the front line and is being blamed and is getting all the punches from people. However, those that are behind those guys never change. So we have to see really who is behind the curtain. We have to see the man behind the curtain. Instead of trying to change the surface system, we have to see the people behind the curtain. We have to see the root cause of this thing. So even with what is happening in Canada, if people start to focus on the government and try to change the government, they will bring another government that will do another thing with another narrative. But eventually it will be the same thing. And I think this year what is going to change is that we will see who those people are that are operating from the shadows. And in my reading from my previous video where I checked the energies around this whole movement in Canada, I got the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is about fighting an enemy that is invisible. And as long as we are fighting an enemy, let's call it an opposition, because no one is really an enemy. The opposition that doesn't have your best interest at heart. As long as you are fighting with it, but you don't see it, it's invisible. You don't know where the attacks are coming from. But the moment you start to see who is that you are fighting with, then they will lose power. And you know where the attacks are coming from, you know how to fix problems. And I think this is what will happen this year. We will see who is the real opposition. So what the deep state is doing when such an opportunity, such an event is happening, a movement, like right now in Canada, sometimes they jump on that opportunity and they try to distort the whole narrative and to install their own agenda. And this is what happened back in 2020 with the George Floyd thing, the murder. And they jumped on that and they came up with the BLM movement, which I said that it had very dark energies and big time distortions. And I'm not saying that nothing positive came out of that, because it did raise awareness about racism. However, that was an operation, because you can tell by the energies. So I would not be surprised at all if they attempted to do that with this movement as well, because that would be an opportunity for them to come up with this savior, thing, like, we are saving you. They love to do that. So they either jump in some occasions on events like this, but in some other occasions, they invest an immense amount of energy and time in planning a single scheme, in planning a single agenda. And this is what happened with the COVID narrative. In the past 2 years, they invested a lot of time, energy, and money as well into that single scheme. And that narrative was meant to achieve a full-bore centralization in the world. It was meant to erase the freedom of people, and it was meant to tear down social and legal conventions. But it failed. It failed because the thing on which they tried to build upon the whole narrative wasn't as deadly as they hoped it to be. And it also failed because there was a lot of resistance. So even though they could achieve the implementation of the medical tyranny in some parts of the world, they could not do that with the US. There was a lot of pushback and resistance to the mandates, the injection mandates, and then also to the lockdowns. And I don't know how it works in your country, guys. I think different states have different laws, so the same thing cannot apply to all the states. But the idea is that it didn't work out, this forcing of the mandates on the population. And when the rest of the world saw that, they were like, we're not going to do that either. And there was a lot of pushback in Europe as well. However, the situation in Europe is different because one country has the size of one state in the US. So people have less choice when it comes to these mandates. We cannot just say that we're gonna go and leave the country, because at some point it was even impossible without being injected. So we don't have the freedom of movement as you have in a big country. So that's why it was easier to implement these things in certain countries like Austria, and then of course Australia, because Australia is very isolated from the rest of the world. So it's a perfect opportunity for them to test their tyranny on a small percentage of the world. Also, with some of their agendas, they were shooting themselves in the foot, because some people in 2020, we remember, were given incentives to stay at home, not to go to work, with the hope of tricking them into debt so they can use that against them later on. And the other agenda was to create economic upheaval, so reset in the financial system, and a disruption in the supply chain, which is hitting right now. So that kind of worked out to a certain degree. We are seeing signs of that. But what they did not expect was that people with these incentives and with the fact that they were not going to the office every single day, but they were working from home, they were given a taste of freedom. They tasted what freedom is like. New horizons were open for people, and new possibilities and opportunities to see things differently and to understand that there's another way of doing things. So many realized that they didn't want to be part of that toxic world and the distractions that they have been part of for so many years without stopping. Many people had the dark night of their soul. Many had a lot of time to think of their lives and values and what is really important for them. So by seeing this contrast between the toxic world and what they can have, they started to see things differently. And when this happens, that always inspires rebellion against the opposition. And the deep state probably expected a bit of rebellion, but they did not expect revolution. They did not expect people seeing through the lies. And when they realized that if we continue to go down that road, that will trigger a civil war as well. And that would be devastating for them. So that's when it happened in the US that the Supreme Court blocked the mandates, and then of course the UK has followed them as well, and they lifted the restrictions because they wanted to avoid that tower moment. They wanted to avoid the civil war because they knew that people have power. However, what is happening now in Canada came out of nowhere. Even though they are trying to redirect now the narrative, so many lies, they don't come to the surface. Here we are. People are calling the elites out on their lies. And sorry about the long intro, but I'm trying to make a point here. And my point is that we do have a new narrative right now, and that is the war tension between Ukraine and Russia. And that is a great distraction to redirect the momentum. Because what is happening now is that the elites are trying to exit the COVID narrative without the exposure of their lies. And that's why they needed to come up with something that is distracting people's attention from that. And the war is perfect for that. And they did have two wild cards, actually. One was the Taiwan and China tension, and the other one was the Ukraine-Russia tension. So it is not only a good distraction, this whole thing, this whole narrative, but it's also escalating tensions and can serve as a new fear-mongering technique. And Russia has been a scapegoat for them for a long time. And they blamed lots of things on Russia. Even if a cyber attack would come, that would be blamed on Russia probably, or China. And then think about it, Russia can be also blamed for a rebellion. So if there's a revolution that is being initiated by people, they can say that, oh, it is not the people, but it was probably a Russian influence, which they did many times in the past, you know, when a rebellion happened. They always downplay it. So they need a scapegoat that will redirect the attention from what is really going on. And this can be also a great opportunity for a distraction from the side effects of the liquid. So if people will start having the side effects, then no one is going to pay attention to that, because we have all over the news the war tension. And I'm not saying that there's no tension at all in these countries. There is, for sure. There is some history of tensions as well. However, I would be very, very curious about people's opinion that are from Russia or Ukraine on this whole situation, because what we are hearing has nothing to do with reality. It is exaggerated and distorted big time. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say about Ukraine and Russia. And let's pull a few tarot cards, actually, about the energies. And I will check the energies of the situation first, and then the outcome, and then we will check the energies of Vladimir Putin as well, which I wanted to do some time ago. So 2 cards on the energies and 2 cards on the outcome. So we have the King of Cups reversed, that's the energies. The 7 of Swords reversed as well. And let's shuffle it again, and the energies of the outcome. We have the 10 of Wands that is reversed, and we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed as well. And at the bottom of the deck we have the 9 of Pentacles. And the 9 of Pentacles is about accomplishment. Is a self-made person that worked and achieved things through hard work, but by themselves, so to speak. And that self-discipline is being also symbolized by that falcon there. So I'm not sure how this translates to this situation. We will check the other cards. But for me, this is showing that there's an accomplishment that is the underlying energy, because it was at the bottom of the deck. So I'm not getting very negative things around the tension itself. However, we got the King of Cups and the 7 of Swords both reversed when I was asking about the energies of the situation. And the King of Cups reversed is an abusive person. It is a psychological manipulation. So that is the energy of this whole situation, and what the media is presenting. I feel like there is this emotional manipulation of the masses that wants to be instilled, and they really want to create chaos. And this is what this card is symbolizing. So there are definitely some hidden intentions behind this and not what is being presented. So it is a great fear-mongering technique, as I said, and they are using this opportunity for that. And for distraction, of course. And then we have the 7 of Swords. And the 7 of Swords reversed is about punishment and is about being caught as well. Because upright, the 7 of Swords is stealing something. It's stealing those swords there. And when it's reversed, the lie and these intentions and tricks are being kind of surfaced and are being exposed. So the ruling class is trying to get away with the lies, and there's a fear of the punishment coming from people as well. And the president of Canada is a great example for that. So that is what this card is trying to say, I think. The fear of punishment. So we have to come up with something else, a new narrative. And then also being caught and then trying to redirect the whole thing and the blame onto something else. So this is confirming that. And then in terms of the outcome, we have the Ace of Pentacles. And that normally signals financial issues and going into debt. So long term, someone might lose some money. So there might be some financial upheavals, and that might have also a ripple effect, this whole situation, on the economy. So it might worsen the whole supply chain situation and disruptions. So definitely something related to finances. And then we got the Ten of Wands. But the Ten of Wands reversed is a great news, because there is that moment when someone is saying no and is deciding to put down all those burdens and to walk away freely and with less burdens. So long term, this can mean freedom, the freedom of people and saying no. So it can mean moving on lighter, with a lighter energy, with less burdens. So this financial upheaval that will be caused by this whole narrative will trigger changes and will probably motivate people and inspire people to put down those burdens and to say no. Will inspire them for freedom. And that can happen worldwide, or it can happen only in those two countries. But it can be definitely a catalyst. And because now I understand, because we had the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and that is accomplishment, people will accomplish something with this narrative. So I'm not getting that the deep state will accomplish something. It will be people. And probably it will be people by themselves. It will be the people that will accomplish. Because this card is about self-sufficiency and independence. And self-sufficiency, it means that you don't need any external force. You can have yourself and your power and believe in yourself. So the power of people, I'm telling you, this year will be about the power of people. Okay, let's pull a couple of cards about Vladimir Putin, because this video is so long. So a couple of cards, please, about the energies of Vladimir Putin. Ace of Wands reversed and Temperance reversed. So there is some anger and chaos and things going out of control with this Temperance card. So he is losing temper, and this is about feeling like out of control. There is a disruptive energy around him, and this is the exact card, the Temperance card, from the other deck that I got around the energies of the truckers as the outcome, that it will make people to lose temper and like things to go out of balance, because upright, this is about balance. So he either is being provoked by other people, maybe the US as well, and the other countries that are supporting Ukraine and the mainstream, or this is a personal revenge. That can be both. And then we have the Ace of Wands, which normally is about a false start. It can be also about delays. So whatever he wants to do might be delayed or might not work as planned. So a false start. But it can also mean brutality and rejection. So there is something around his energy that is angry, that is feeling rejected. Okay, only reverse cards for now. Let me get another one. What is the next one? Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is about relocating and traveling, but it's reversed again. So that is feeling stuck, travel issues, stagnancy, so unable to move. So there's something that is not letting him to move. There is this stopping of movement for Vladimir Putin. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Emperor. That is upright, the only card that is upright. So definitely that is his energy, like the strategic planner, the person that knows what he's doing. Very masculine energy, is the energy of stability and order and leadership. So it has political associations, so that's definitely his energy. However, even though he is a very strategic person, very strategic leader, and also wants to create order and stability, he is being stopped because we have the Six of Swords that is reversed, and we also have the Temperance. So he's not really in control of the situation. This is how I feel. And then he might not achieve many things that he would like to achieve. That doesn't mean that he's not being lied about in the media. It just means that they are trying to stop him, so he's feeling stuck and he cannot really go forward with his real plans or what he's wanting to do. So there is this strong opposition. And look, at the bottom of the deck, after the Emperor, there's the Moon, upright. So there's something that they are not telling us about Vladimir Putin and his character. Because remember, this reading is about his character and his energies. So there's something that we don't see about him, or he's not presenting about him. But I feel like it's more how they are presenting him. So this is about secrets. So I don't know, I feel like there's much more to his character than what we are hearing about. But use your discernment. I don't know this guy. It can also mean that he does have a very masculine energy, you know, the energy of the Emperor. However, in many situations, he's using his intuition. He is an intuitive leader though, even though he is being presented as a very, very masculine, very strict, very rigid person. So yeah, use your discernment. I'm personally not getting very bad energies and sinister energies around Vladimir Putin. I'm not getting that. It's really up to everyone's interpretation, how you interpret this reading. Okay, let's pull another card from this oracle deck around the energies and the tensions in between Ukraine and Russia. So one last card and then I will finish this recording. A man holding a heart, reversed. So yeah, I do feel like this whole situation and tension is lacking empathy, is lacking that heart-based frequency. It can also mean a very strong masculine energy that it doesn't have empathy for others. So whoever is orchestrating this and whoever is behind this whole thing is not having empathy. So I think people need to get to that heart-based frequency, because that is the solution to peace. That is the solution to understanding each other. And this is what this is teaching the world as well, that we don't need wars and we don't want wars either. Wars have never ever solved any of our problems, never ever brought any resolution, but only more tension, more anger and more wars. The heart is, and love is what can solve our problems. And at the bottom of the deck we have Angel of Love, number 49. So yeah, this is what we need. We need love if we want to solve the problems of the world. So I think this conflict is raising awareness about what we no longer want, what energies we want to leave behind. We want to leave behind this heartless, very masculine energy, and we want to create something that is more creative, that is more loving, more kindness, more compassion, more tenderness in the world. And I will say it again, I'm very, very proud of humankind at the moment and how we are standing up for ourselves. So I think we are solving loads of problems. And this is one of those catalysts that will start a change. So we still have a lot to learn, but love is winning and kindness is winning as well. So this is what I'm seeing, guys. I hope it resonated. So if it did, then you can share this message with others and you will support my channel big time. So if you want to support my channel, please share this message. You can give this video a thumbs up as well. And soon I will create a Patreon account as well, where I will be sharing extra messages, so extra content. I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna be like, how this is going to look like, but I'm working on that and I will let you know, of course. So thank you guys for being here. Again, thank you for your support and your loving messages and generosity. Take care of yourselves, and I cannot wait to see you next time.